Let's kind of start there. As you just said, you're 4 days into camp, and you've got every season almost. So.
Yeah, it's a good thing we've been here. We've experienced the smoke, the cold, the hot. So it's been interesting the first week of camp here.
Yeah, kind of prepping for the Western Final, maybe. Like the weather might fix it a few months.
Yeah, the wind was blowing pretty good today, and a little bit of rain there at the end, But concentration level was really, really good. That's what I was pleased with. I mean, the maturity of our group. To see there was only one drop ball in the last 30 minutes there, and a walkthrough at the end, which that's usually an indicator of how zoned in the guys are. So I think the quarterbacks are really doing a good job of handling their group.
You made some moves. Obviously, you had to get down to 75. Just kind of address maybe Donovan, a guy who's had a couple of games over the last, I think each of the last 2 seasons, he played a couple of games, made an impact, and I guess just didn't fit this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's never a fun thing to do, especially when it's a guy, like Donnie that you've worked with for a long time and know and respect him and that type thing. And I think he's going to live here locally, so I'm sure he'll be by.
All right, talk about what you're seeing from your D-line as it kind of gets reworked.
Well, we've had flashes, especially in rookie camp. We've had flashes of some really good things, and then there's been a couple of days to where, we didn't look near as good as what we're going to need to. So the consistency needs to be there. I feel like we've got the pieces in place to be a solid unit. A lot of our Canadian content is there in the defensive line.
And one of them is Noah Curtis. Second year for him. He had some signs last year that he could be pretty good. Tell me about what you've seen from him in year 2.
Yeah, he had a really good offseason. I mean, he came back a lot stronger. He battled a shoulder last year, but he came back, probably about 10, 15 pounds heavier. He's going to play inside and outside for us. He's got a lot of length, and because he's a lot bigger than you think when you see him and you stand next to him, you recognize how large of a human he is.
Yeah, and after a year of experience, things kind of change for guys. Right?
Yeah, we're always hoping that they play at the top level, but certainly after gaining 18 games of experience last year, I mean, he should be ahead of where he was last year at this time.
Lots of rookies last year. I know you said you had a lot of kids last year. Are you seeing those steps that you wanted to see in some of those guys, especially in the defensive backfield?
Yeah, it's you can see their maturity. You can see they understand where to go. They're not as big-eyed, what I like to call it. I mean, they're not looking around like, where am I supposed to be, So, and like I say, I mean, that's usually what happens when you have, a group of rookies and then they come back and you have some continuity in your lineup.
And you were talking about having all the seasons, and now you've got these new guys out here that are playing. Do you have to pull anybody aside and said, you better get used to this? That's what it's like? Or?
Well, you see the ones from Florida, that are used to the 90-degree Fahrenheit weather, and they come up and it's this cold this time of year because, like I say, it's probably 90 degrees in Florida right now.
Of course, yeah. Perfect.
All right.
I got to ask you about Tre. How do you think Tre's handled everything that's gone on the last 6 months? How do you think he's handled it?
I think he's doing a great job. Again, I just heard him break down. He's been with the B, what we call the B group, which is our number 2s. And I just heard him tell the B group, he's like, man, you guys are zoned in. He said, let me give a shout out to the B group offense. They're doing a really good job. So, I mean, he and I spoke yesterday at length up in the cafeteria, and he recognizes if he's willing and, able to just zone in mentally with the situation that he's in, that it could benefit him later on in his career.
And Kyran Moore, just it's his second year here. How's he been improving?
Well, Swerve is you don't have to worry about Swerve. I mean, he's not going to be perfect. I mean, but he's going to work as hard as anybody in the group. He's, he gets a lot out of his ability, and I give him a hard time about being short, so he hangs out with me a lot of times, during the pregame, So he's, but you can hang your hat on him. He's going to give you every bit of his ability every single week when he touches the field.
One other one that you have a bunch of guest coaches here, a lot of the guys that played with you even 2015 and on. So what's that been like, having some of these guys back around the team again?
Well, I mean, anytime you can have, future Hall of Famers, guys that are going to be remembered for forever for their play on the field. I mean, those three that we have that played for us. I mean, it it means a lot to me. You look over there and you've been to so many big games with those guys, and like I told them, I said, just get what's in your brain and your heart to these guys that are new. And teach them, exactly how much this game means to all of us that have been here, and this is how we've earned our living for a long time, and so that's what we've been trying to get them to do.
You kind of changed things up a little bit today. The defense left early, I think, to go do some workouts and stuff. Is it important as you go into day 5 in the first week to switch things up a little bit so guys don't, the monotony of camp doesn't get them down?
Well, yesterday was our first padded day, and the guys went really, really hard. And so we already had it scheduled that was going to be our first lift. And so the defense lifted first while the offense walked through, and then we riverside it. And then I think the defense is going to go up and finish up inside and watch some practice, watch some game film, and then the offense can get their lift. But we're going to lift at least 3 times before we play our first preseason ball game. All right.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank y'all.